Party right there.
Yes, we go. No, use it. No, there are menus for that. Just run for you. Menus now change. When do we know chamber?
I can't start with this one.
Come just that and now the menus.
Like jingle, actually like there, and then I was expecting that it will play. Ni side Aisha Pata, Pari Jazla, ni side Aisha Pata, ni side intro without jingle, intro without jingle. Okay. What did I know? Radio channel restoring everything in Christ with love in truth. Good afternoon. With the main news, I'm Sarah. Remember, you can watch us live on Radio Channel Facebook page and also listen to us on Radio Garden. The headlines: Shape lives of children in a Christian way. Allow journalists to execute their duty freely. Cost of living for a family of 5 increases. And now the news in detail. Families have been challenged to shape the lives of children in a Christian way, and a Catholic priest has bemoaned the moral degradation among young people in society. In an interview with Radio Chingale News, Father Augustine Mwansamumba, the Pontifical Mission Society (PMS) director of the Catholic Diocese of Ndola, expressed concern at what he termed as social ills among youths. Father Mumba cited social exposure and abuse of social media as one of the things that has led to moral decay and destroyed young people. He has since reminded parents that they have a huge responsibility to mold children in a morally upright way through church catechesis and good cultural norms.
It's a responsibility of adults, parents, to see what are my children listening to, what are my children watching, what catechesis, if I may put it that way, are they receiving from the world, from social media, from the people. And once the parents establish that kind of a relationship of understanding their own children, it will be easier to help the young people. Young people are destroyed nowadays because of all this exposure. And it's difficult to control and correct them unless you understand them, unless you speak to them, unless you pray for them. And if a family is so responsible over the life of this young girl or young boy, it becomes easier. Even their response to society.
Expectant mothers in Kitwe's Bulangililo Township and other surrounding areas have been assured that the newly constructed maternity wing at Bulangililo Clinic will be officially opened not later than March. Currently, expectant mothers go to Buchi Urban Clinic and other health centers to deliver. But speaking when he featured on Insaka program on Radio Chingale today, Bulangililo Ward Councillor Charles Mutale said the maternity wing would be operational soon. Councillor Mutale said once the maternity wing is fully operational, the clinic will be operating 24 hours.
Anytime. That's maternity. You have a 24-hour service now. You have a 24-hour service. So, abantu balale kukwenda ntamfufire baleya kubuchi na kukuchimwemu. So, abantu banamaga banashiyashiresu. Bakula abatangateri anomba bagula ngero. Nino mbalinde fe. Bayampi bagila njiri bagilaya. Abantu nombalinde kutira. Ili maternity what? Yala isulwa. Ile bomba 24 hours. And then, naba nensu bambi abakula abala family dari nga malezi. Kwala bako bakala bateka na wowe. Bikota bala batwala. Chipatala chikalamba. Chakitwe teaching hospital.
President Edgar Lungu has called on the public to allow journalists to execute their duty freely. The president said the media has continued to play a critical role as the country's fourth estate. The head of state also implored the media to observe the electoral code of conduct and avoid receiving gifts, which he said may compromise their work. President Lungu said this today when he addressed Parliament on progress made in the application of national values and principles. And President Lungu said unity was important for the country's stability. He also said that he was worried with the pockets of violence, saying Zambia was a Christian nation where intra-party dialogue should be promoted. Minister of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection, Raphael Nakachinda, has called on Mulonga Water Supply and Sanitation to continue providing quality water and sewer services to the people in the 3 towns they operate from. Mr. Nakachinda made the appeal when he toured Mulonga Water Infrastructure in Chingola and Chilabombwe yesterday. Mr. Nakachinda said government was committed to ensuring that people continue receiving quality services.
Very, very passionate and committed to make sure that water supply and sanitation is provided to people, and possibly the attainment of the Vision 2020 is achieved even before that is not a time. Projects, the Zambia Water Sanitation Project, those are key. I do know that the challenges, those are around issues of funding. You know, I noted that some of the monies that are coming from our corporate partners have their own conditionality. But I think there's nothing impossible if we can just apply ourselves and re-engage and negotiate with our corporate partners to see that some of the bureaucratic processes that they put in place just hinder the progress for the much needed service that our people need. The issue of vandalism and sabotage, even before the infrastructure there is completed, people have already begun to vandalize.
And Mulonga Water Acting Director Engineer Ruben Kaira said high ZESCO tariffs and unwillingness to pay for water and sewer services by some customers has impacted negatively on the water utility operations.
The other challenge that we have is the high energy cost. But we are happy to report to the Honorable Minister that there are some talks with your ministry and the Minister of Energy where they want now to relook at our tariff on electricity, and we hope this can be concluded in good time so that we can be operational and viable as a company. The other problem that we have is water quality issues, especially here in Chingola. As you may know, Honorable Minister, we are sitting in the mining town with a lot of mining activities in terms of effluent, and these have a big impact on our water quality from time to time. The other problem that we have, the low collections due to unwillingness to pay, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. Because when this happened, especially last year, there was an announcement from the government that we should not disconnect, and this had an impact on our income as a company.
And Nchanga Member of Parliament, Mr. Charlie Chilombo, thanked government for allowing the Zambia Water and Sanitation Project to commence.
The infrastructure that we have here in Chingola, it's an old infrastructure, very old. It's high time the system was rehabilitated and replaced. That's why I even thank the government of the Republic of Zambia for having authorized this project to take off. We were going to find ourselves like in a desert. I know Mr. Kaira must have mentioned about the sabotaging of the system, and he said also there was a lot of encroachment, especially in the mine area on longer infrastructure. And apart from that, the pipe bursts at the end of the day. All I can say is if we can speed up this project.
And now in business news, the The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection says the cost of living for a family of 5, as measured by the JCTR Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket (BNNB) for the month of January stood at 8,394 kwacha 1 ngwe. This shows an increase of 9,809 kwacha 96 ngwe from the December 2020 basket, which was 7,404 5 ngwe. JCTR says the rise in the basket is attributed to the increase in the prices of both food and the non-food but essential items. Meanwhile, the annual inflation rate for January 2021 stood at 21.5%, according to the Zambia Statistics Agency. This has been the highest annual inflation rate since April 2016. But a look at selected items on the JCTR BNNB shows an average increase of 50% between January 2020 and January 2021 for foods such as beef, beans, chicken, and milk. This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Chengelo with compliments of Moose Milling and Go TV Broadcasting Zambia Limited. And now international BBC as monitored. The BBC has more in the following.
Official figures show the British economy shrank by almost 10% last year, the largest annual decline it has ever recorded. Details from Andrew Walker.
Britain is one of the countries hardest hit by the pandemic in terms of deaths, and also, as the new figures show, in terms of the economic consequences. The decline for the full year of 9.9% is likely to be larger than the other members of the G7 group of leading developed countries, although among other large economies outside the group, Spain has seen an even deeper decline. There was some growth at the end of the year in Britain, but more severe restrictions on activity have come into force, which means a further contraction in the first 3 months of 2021 is likely.
The military government in Myanmar has announced a large-scale amnesty for prisoners, even as it continues to detain some protesting against last week's coup. More than 23,000 prisoners are eligible either for release or reduced sentences. Jonathan Head reports.
Prisoner amnesties in Myanmar usually take place in April, around the time of the traditional Burmese New Year. But the new military government has brought this forward by 2 months in an apparent bid for popular support, at a time when it's being confronted by mass protests across the country. Among those freed in the amnesty is A Mong, a politician from Rakhine State who was given a 20-year jail sentence for treason 2 years ago.
As we end our main news this afternoon, we take a look at the headlines again. Shape lives of children in a Christian way. Allow journalists to execute their duty freely. Cost of living for a family of 5 increases. Remember to play your part in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic by adhering to safety guidelines as outlined by the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization. Wear face mask when in public. Avoid large groups and maintain social distance. Avoid unnecessary movements. Wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds. On behalf of the entire news crew, this has been Sarah Tamina. Have a wonderful Friday.